Hey YouTube, how's it going? Well, it's been a little on the busy side here, which is why I haven't gotten a video up the last couple of days. But I am actually getting some things done. Last night I recorded a good 90 minutes of Kerbal Space Program, which is going to be made into at least 3 episodes, I believe. The first of which will be going up later today, sometime. Actually, I'm not 100% certain when, but it will be sometime today. And the other 2 will happen over the next 4 or 5 days, because I'm trying to alternate between Hermitcraft FTB and Kerbal Space Program on that channel. And so, got a good start going there. And on the subject of the city, y'all have provided some very interesting, very flattering names and whatnot, ideas for the city. And I do appreciate that a lot, although I gotta tell you, I'm not too comfortable with the idea of naming something like that after myself. I realize it's just a game and yada yada yada, but somehow it seems just a little too full of it, a little too full of myself, to name a city Tinfoil Town or Chef City, although Chef City does sound good. I like the ring to that, I really do. But I was looking at the list of suggested names. They're all very good, creative, and so on. You come up with things I couldn't have come up with, even if they are just a little bit too centered around me. You know, Edgeworld is cool, but it's not exactly a world, really. It's just a city. But anyway, one of them was suggested Kerbalopolis, and that gave me an idea. And I wouldn't call something Kerbalopolis. For one thing, it trips this little trigger where in Kerbal Space Program, a lot of people involved in Kerbal Space Program have a tendency to call things with a lot of K names, and you know, put K, take regular words and change the first letter to K, or the first syllable to Ker, and so on, and that grates the wrong way on me, really something awful, because I don't know, it doesn't work. But it did inspire me to something. I can give the city a name that is based on something I'm interested within Kerbal Space Program. And so I thought about it, and I came up with Jool City. And for those that don't know, that is spelled capital J-O-O-L. Because Jool is the 5th or 6th planet in the Kerbal star system. It is Kerbal Space Program's analog to Jupiter. It is a gas giant. There are several planet-sized moons around it. And it's a very interesting place. A place that my Kerbal Space Program LP series will get to colonizing eventually. Anyway, without further ado, welcome to Jool City. Alright, what you're looking at here is a virtual machine. Not a real computer, but a virtual computer running Windows 98 SE on a virtual environment, which is how I was able to install SimCity 2000 Network Edition. And I'm starting up the client instead of the server, because by starting the client, I get the option to edit the starting terrain and whatnot. And as soon as the little intro video stops, and okay, we get our menu pop up here in a minute. Now this does run a little bit slow because it is a virtual machine. Alright, let's edit a new map. And now I'm going to, let's see, We want more trees on the land than that, so let's do that and hit make. And let's bring the sea level up 1 notch. Hit make again. Alright, we'll click on water, and I'm going to give it just 1 tick of up arrow. And I'm not seeing any water yet, so let's bring the sea level up again. Let's bring it up 1 more notch and do it again. I'm still not seeing any water around there. Let's try that. I'm surprised. There's a little bit of water. Alright, so it can take a while to come up with a satisfactory city here, starting area. What I'm looking for is an area that is basically pretty much flat. I don't want to deal with a whole lot of hills and whatnot, because that extends, it causes a lot of expense in terms of okay, here we go. Alright, this is not bad. See, having lots of hills and stuff like that, that creates a lot of expense in leveling the ground and so on, because I prefer not to have a lot of hills in my cities, because, well, it limits the population potential considerably, because there are places on the hills and whatnot you just simply can't build anything. And in this particular situation, I want to maximize my build. Okay, this looks good, looks like a decent start, so I'm going to hit done, and we will name this Jool City. And yes, I'm going on easy with the $30,000 startup in 1900, but that's alright, because even easy can be very challenging. You'd be surprised how quickly you could run out of budget. Okay, now the server starts up, begins running. We'll go back over here to the client, and let's maximize the client so we can actually see what's going on. We have our newspaper, and the main story right here: the city has been founded. Komodo dragon pita sandwich in the exotic food court tastes just like chicken, he was overheard to say. Oh boy. Okay, that newspaper is a little bit weird sometimes. Now I have something of a little bit, in my opinion, perhaps, I don't know, maybe others have done it. Let's see, zoom in here. This is about as zoomed in as we get, by the way. And we can't just start building, because first we have to buy the land. So we'll start here in the corner. I'm going to buy a strip of land about like this. Oh, doggone that thing. Alright, I'm going to turn on auto budget so that that doesn't pop up unless I want it to. First $7,000 of our $30,000 budget goes for land purchase. Okay, now let's see. Start out, we need some roads, and let's see. Alright, you can't build anything on the edge of the city. Well, that's not quite true. You can build some things, but most things won't be allowed to be touching the edge of the city, so don't count that last row of tiles. So I'm going to go right here. Have a road here, and this one go 1, 2, 3 and a road. Connect to the neighboring town. And I'm going to demolish a piece of road there and do the same thing here, because connecting to neighboring towns gets you a place for more people to come in from. And now I'm going to turn the signs off because they get in the way. And a little bit of road down this way. And the reason for all of this is that right in here is where the power plant goes. And that's our coal-fired power plant. And this thing will work for 50 years. And then it will fall into rubble and need to be replaced. Power lines across the streets. And along the edge of the city is where I like to put water pumps. Because the city needs water. In fact, this entire corner I'm going to make water pumps. And then I will run some pipes under the streets to connect the water to all of the surrounding areas. Turn the surface back on. Alright, these will stop flashing in a moment as soon as they realize they have power. And now, let's see, the demand indicators over here, RC and I, is residential, commercial, and industrial. Up means there's a demand for it, down means there isn't. So we have a serious demand for industrial, and I'm going to start out going right for the gold with dense industrial, and we'll zone this area here, dense industrial, and I'll just go 3 blocks back from the road and along like this. I will extend the road. I'm only going 3 away from the road because Sims have this funny little thing. They will not do anything more than 3 tiles away from the road. They can't be bothered to walk more than 3 tiles away from the road. That's cool. You just build to accommodate that. Now once it's zoned, the Sims start doing the construction. And I really wish that I could zoom in more, but you can see the construction starting to happen. There's businesses being built, and stuff is beginning to go. Turn the surface off for a second, and you can see that the water supply being pumped out from here is making it to the entire area. You can see it takes a while. I hit a control and it takes a while for it to respond. This is part of the problem of working in a virtual machine, but at least it's possible. Okay, now we finally have a demand for residential. And I'm going to anticipate a demand for commercial as well, because I don't particularly care to put residential right next to industrial if I can help it. So I'm going to put a buffer of some commercial property right here, zone this commercial. And then right here, I'm going to zone this area for residential. And they will start to building there in a few moments as soon as they realize that it has in fact been zoned. Okay, meanwhile, let's have a look at our budget. Okay. This is cool so far. We have 14,680 projected at the end of the year, and with taxes, we're actually, after taxes and expenditures, we're actually gaining $20 a year. Not a whole lot to start with, but it will grow. Now, over the course of this, because of how long some things take, I am going to make cuts from time to time. Things probably won't start to get really seriously interesting until around 2000 to 2150, somewhere in that area. And since right now it is 1906, it may take a while, but it'll happen. That is not a problem. Alright, let's see, let's have the city information and look at the neighboring towns, north, south, east, and west. Our population right here, 300. Small but growing. I'm wondering where they all live because nobody's bothered to build any houses yet. Oh, wait a minute. They won't build if they don't have power, so I will run some power lines down here. There. And the water is connected. Yeah. Alright, that'll take a few minutes. Alright, here we go. First residential areas are under construction. And I'm going to start things off right. I'm going to pop down a police station right here so that we don't have a crime issue to start off with. And then I'm going to pop down a school right next to it. And let's run some wires across the road and make sure everything's powered. Okay. And the abandoned buildings thing, it just happens sometimes. Okay, we still have more demand for residential. Alright, let's go ahead and extend the road out this way. And what I'm doing is I'm just extending this road along this way, and I'm building 3 tiles on either side of it. With the edge tiles here, I'm reserving those for putting in more water pumps. And once we get to the point where they are invented, which I believe is in about 1977, I will start putting wind turbines back there for generating power. Okay, we still have more demand for residential, so let's give them some more places to live. How about right along here like so? Trying to watch the budget here. I don't want to let this budget get down below about $8,000 because, like I said, once we get up to 1950, this power plant is going to need to be replaced. So I used the query tool here. Its output maximum is 200 megawatts. It's running at 12%, and it's 6 years old. Once it is 50 years old, it will turn into a pumpkin or vanish or whatever. It won't be there. And it'll need to be replaced, and a coal-fired power plant costs $4,000. And you'd be surprised how fast you can run out of money with this thing. Like, for example, I may have bought too much land here to start with. I may end up having to sell some of this off. But that's all right. In fact, come to think of it, anything beyond here, I don't need, because the way I'm doing this, I'm not going to be building on any of this land right here. Oops. I didn't mean to nuke the power plant. So I need to buy some of that back. And now I need to spend $4,000 I didn't need to spend as soon as this white turns green to rebuild the power plant. Now that was stupid. I have done some stupid moves, but that's a capper. Well, on the plus side, we have a brand new power plant that will now last until 1959. It'll take about a month or so in-game to go online and everything's working. Alright. I should have remembered that the power plant is 4 tiles wide. Okay, so we've got a start. We've had our major derp moment for the week. Okay, the residential demand is going down. The industrial demand is pretty much flat, but they want commercial. So let's give them some commercial. And now for a word from our sponsors. I couldn't resist that. All right. The city is off to an interesting start, and yes, I realize I'm only building in one corner of a rather large bit of land. One of the things I like about this version of SimCity, as opposed to the 2013 SimCity, is the amount of area that you get to build in. I've seen this 2013 thing in videos and live streams, and frankly, I'm not impressed about how small the area is that you build in, that you have available to you. This city here, if it's managed properly and built right, the population can exceed 60 million easily. In fact, I've seen cities where the population has exceeded 150 million. Mind you, those weren't cities that I built, but I've seen some that actually have achieved that. Alright, now, so we're down to 11,779. What's our annual budget looking like? We're making $47 a year from taxes. That's good. So I'm going to go ahead and buy some more land, sticking with my plan of building along the edge. And that's the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to build along the edge until I get all the way over here to this corner, where I will make 2 more connections to neighboring towns. And then my building will turn the corner and head towards the other corner. And this may sound a little odd, but I do have a plan here. Meanwhile, let's get some more road going on. Oh, blast that newspaper popping up. New human species possible. What are you talking about? Council rates traffic. Traffic is bad in Jool City. You see, this newspaper seems kind of cheesy and goofy, but it does give you clues about what's going on in town. The traffic is bad. They're not thrilled about how bad the traffic is. And new human species possible, they're talking about subways have been invented. And eventually I will use them. Okay. And we've got high unemployment problems. Okay. Well, we can solve some of these problems. Let's see. I don't want to get into subways, and I'm not going to get into rail. It's kind of a real mess to deal with. What I'm waiting for to be developed is the bus station. And probably by 1920 or 1930, we will have bus stations available. Meanwhile, just expand the road. The Sims will deal with the traffic. Okay. Check my zoning map. Okay, we've got commercial here. So I'm going to pop down some more industrial zoned area. Talking about unemployment. Industrial gives them a place to work. And I will go ahead and do just a little bit more commercial, because that demand seems to be fairly high as well. People demand fire protection. It says so down here in the status bar. Okay. So let's go ahead and pop down a fire station. Now they will be satisfied with that. And I think I need to go ahead and anticipate the need for a hospital. Put it right next to the fire station. Okay. What I'm trying to do here is to keep these demand indicators up. You see, the residential demand is down. And this is pretty much code for
people are moving out, at least recently. Overall population is 1,340. So we're not doing too awfully bad. Neighboring towns anywhere from 891 to 2182 in population. And our population will soon dwarf all of those. All of it built in a nice little 7-block wide strip along the edge of the territory, for the beginning time anyway. Okay, the residential indicator is moving closer to the flat line, and it's going to go positive, I'm sure. So, let's get a little bit more industrial going. And I'll put down one more strip of commercial. And now, let's check the budget one more time. We're gaining $176 a year with the budget and taxes as they are right now, with the taxes 7% and so on, and all city services getting 100% of the required funding. So what I'm going to do now is pretty much go into a holding pattern. Got some good development started here, and the demand indicators are on the positive. Things are going good. It's stable. We have a positive income. So I'm going to let this thing run between now and the next episode. I'm going to let it run up until about 1955 or so. And when we come back in, it'll be 1955. Our funds will have grown, and there will be a lot of budget, or at least a lot more budget to work with for growing the city some more. And so that's what we'll do next time. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.